What is going on, everybody? We are in the stew, baby. And man, am I happy to see all of you. Welcome to another adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so happy to have announced the documentary. This is a 6-year process. 6 years I've thought about doing this ever since the story started getting picked up and just changed. And I said, you know what? At some point, there's going to have to be some kind of ultimate story for everyone to know what it was really like. And so, what I'd like to do tonight is give you guys, I think there's a little confusion. So, if you are confused, you have any questions, we have been blessed to see a lot of people putting some money into the donation. So, thank you so much because you are going and donating towards this project, and I can make this happen. So we're already doing really good, and I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. And I'm going to be sharing the tiers with you as a post, and then I'll just try to keep that being on there. Now, this is what's so different about this documentary, and I just want to start out by explaining the reasoning behind, maybe for anybody that has any confusion. So I was talking to some companies, and basically what happened is we could never get to the point where I was able to actually share the story from an authentic place without any kind of, I don't want to say the word, it's basically contingencies. And at the end of the day, when you work with a big company, they get to come in and have some creative control, and they get to change your narrative if they want to. And again, this is where you have to make a decision. And I think what I would like to say to anybody who has ever thought about telling their story, the one thing you don't want to do is sacrifice your story and everything for any reason. You don't want anything that is authentic, that is important to you, to be taken over by someone else. And so I just want to put that out there because that is what the whole real story movement is about. To answer everyone's question, this is a self-funded, meaning all of us, right? Crowdfunded, sorry, that's the right word. Crowdfunded and self-funded documentary. And the reason I'm going this way is because you guys know I did one in, I want to say started in the end of 2020 and ran all the way through a certain point. And then it was put out in 22, whatever. You guys have seen Netflix. And again, I don't want to get into the whole entire thing, but just simple as I can possibly make it, it was made very differently than anything I had ever thought it was supposed to be. And what I want to say is there was conversations that I had face to face like this, and it's like what I said didn't matter. And so there's nothing more disheartening. Oops, you guys aren't like, there you go. Wow, that was horrible. So yes, exactly, Ginger Snap. And this is what I always try to encourage people, just be very careful. Your story is your life. There's no price to that. There's no price to what you will what you're willing to share and do. It's so raw and vulnerable, and it's your family, it's part of your story, it's part of other people's stories. So you can't just, there's no money or monetary value about getting it back. Now, that was the one thing I am going to address here. Some people think that this is about making money. I would make money if I were to do it with a company. I would make money if I were to sell the rights, my life rights or something like that, to other people. There is not a process of making a bunch of money here. That is not the goal. That has never been my goal. And yeah, good. I'm so glad. I didn't know it. Sometimes my system just does what it wants. So I changed it back to the microphone. It should have been on the mic the whole time. My bad. But, the thing is about this whole situation is I have watched everybody dip their hands into this story. And man, I can't tell you how disturbing that is. Some people say, let them rest in peace. You have never heard their story. So it's not about uprooting them and trying to expose them. It's telling their real legacy and story. I can guarantee that most people haven't heard a lot about them, and I haven't shared that, saving it for a documentary. And in my mind, I thought I have to do it this way. There's one way to do this, and you work with the company and they do all the hard stuff. So yes, I will go through that. So if you have donated, there are tiers. And if you have donated, I'll have to give you guys the list because I just want to give it to you organized. But basically, what's going to happen is that your tiers, people are going to have a pre-premiere, and then there's going to be the main premiere for everybody. If we can raise enough money, then we will have an actual physical premiere, and those would be for the people who have donated at a certain tier. So that's what those tiers are for. We'll get into that at some point. Thank you. Yeah, Tess knows. I've been offered more money that I can explain to you, and it's always about selling the story, selling this. And that's the thing. I'm not here to sell you a story. I'm not here to make money off of this story. You can say what you want, think what you want. I don't care. I know the people who know my heart, who know this channel and have been here, know that it is so important for me to try to share this in the right way. And like I said, one of the main things is the people who are involved are very excited and they get to share the story just as much. So it's not just a one Colby's perspective only. There's a lot of people who are going to be able to give you perspective, and that way you understand. So yes, this is 100% crowdfunded and self-funded. This is not with the company. This is a completely just self-made documentary. And as risky as that sounds, I have never been so excited to tackle all of that stuff. And you know what happens? I was so scared to do this ever. I just thought it's too much to handle. It's too hard. There's too many like background things. There's so many little details you have to do. And it's not just the filming and the story, because that's like my passion and the thing I'm good at. But I think it's harder to try to do all the other parts, right? Like wear all these different hats or make sure you can hire the right people, this and that. But there's so many people you've never heard from that have never been able to share their part. And so this allows me to share everything with you that needs to be out there without the editing and without the sale. Because if you take that away, then it's just the story. That's it. I'm not trying to make people watch it. It gets watched by the people who want to watch it. That's the point. I'm satisfied with that. There's no end goal. There's no trophy at the end. There's no NBA championship. And I have to get to this. It's like, if I can make it and share it, that's an accomplishment in itself, because then I know that story was that made it. I'm going to read this. People just have no idea the real stuff that hasn't been in the media. Exactly. Yes. Julie, that's 100% right. That's it. And I want people to understand that there's nothing more valuable than your time, and there's nothing more valuable than your story. So don't ever sell that. If you have the vision to tell it, then you should. Don't sell it. Let's just put it that way. Don't try to sell it. I saw that earlier. Somebody said that there's somebody in one of the thing that is named Colby Ryan in one of those things. That's so funny. That's hilarious. So here's what I want to do. I want to do a Q&A for anybody. If you have any questions, I know the tiers need to be shared. I can share those in a post for you, and I'll continue to share that with you, because some of you have already donated and you've already made it to that tier. So all of those things are going to be shared with you. Here's the goals. And then while you guys are asking questions, I will share the goals as we get there. So number one, there's a threshold that we're trying to hit. That way we are able to actually make this documentary. Now, the number one thing you have to do is get the equipment, and then it becomes all about location, people's time, the interviews, and then it's the post-production. So it's kind of in phases, and I'm already in the pre-phase, right? Preparing everything, getting it ready. And then I have to make sure the equipment's there, and then you do the interviews and you go from there, right? You have a lot to do. What I want to do though is also go in and hire people if I can, and bring in people who are really good at editing and that kind of thing to get it to be right, because we need it. I can do so much, but obviously there's people who are so talented and gifted in different places. I'm more of this storyteller, director, and I have a lot of experience in little bits in all these different places in film, but I'm obviously not a professional at everything. This is my first attempt at something this big and serious, but also I have a very clear vision, and I've always enjoyed media, and I've always researched things and been just a fan of directors and their styles and how you tell people things in a certain way. So let's just put it that way. I've always been a fan of people sharing their stories, because I think it's the most healing thing in the world. And so this is my first attempt at something that's not super raw, like podcasting or just videos, but a raw in a different kind of way with the storytelling aspect, so you guys can get the story. When I tell you that there's so much that I've never talked about on this channel that I've never even touched on. Um, all kind of saving it for the right time. So that way there's a bigger picture. That's what I mean by doing this documentary the right way. Oh, 100%. Nobody knows what our lives were like behind the scenes. Like if you pulled the curtain back and you saw what life was like, that will change. It's going to change everything you've seen before. I'm telling you, I'm not BSing. I wish I could just plop it out on the table and show it to you right now, because it would prove what I'm saying. But there's so much context and reality and moments that happened that built up to our lives that make more sense now for me as going through therapy and maturing and looking back and then healing and that stuff, but then realizing how effed up the situations were and different things. And so I feel like my gift that I get to give to my siblings is to honor them, is to show it. And then also for Charles, the best I possibly can, because he was my dad, and help tell the story from a bunch of people's perspectives who lived that. I mean, what better gift could I give to them to have people have real story, real tangible tissue of people who experience this life. And it's no disrespect again or shade towards the media, but it's interesting that, you know, a lot of the people who are going to be in this documentary have never talked. They've never really done anything like this, and they put themselves out there. And if they have, they've never been heard, and they've never been able to really dive into this whole thing. I'm excited because there's different aspects. So I don't want you to think it's just only the family story. This is a very full encompass story. So there's going to be a lot of people's perspectives who experience this all the way through. It's going to be very interesting. So I'm very excited to share. Like it means a lot. And so I I really do have nothing but I just have a joy. I mean, I'm obviously like a little afraid, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to let fear ever stop that. So let's read what Emily said. Is there going to be merch like Rob Ranch Ray action figure who's swollen ready to deliver justice? Weightlifting action sets. I love that. I told you guys, why don't we get a little calendar going? We'll get a little Rob Ranch Ray calendar going. get some more funding for our documentary. No, but I mean, even for Ray, I'm not going to speak for him because I care about him. And but I mean, I feel like even for him and for everybody who did that part of it as well, there's so much to be talked about there for them to show you what they did for not only my family, but to be a representative of being at the top of your class in your field and I don't know, just serving. I mean, that's a hard job. So there's so many things that I just cannot wait to share, but you've never heard it like this, and you will see that whenever this comes out, it's going to be a lot of new information, and it's because everyone has saved, I think, their part as well, because let me just put it this way. It's hard to trust the media once you experience bad experiences. I think that's kind of life, right? Like you get into a position, you look at stuff and you say, you know, I don't know how to feel about this anymore. I don't really trust this anymore. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bad experiences. And, you know, at some point you kind of wake up a little bit and you kind of just see, I'm going to say one other thing that hopefully I want you guys to not take in the wrong way, but I want to say this just in general because some people obviously don't understand, but this is the media part of this that's been driving for so long is a business. They make lots of money about talking about these circumstances, and whether we understand how that business works or not, my point is I try to pull my story out of the business and put it into a completely different realm, and that takes all the risk on for me. That's just what it is. Like it literally takes all of the risk. I assume all the risk. I assume all the storytelling accuracy. That all falls to me. And so really, I'm just telling you that that's the reason why. Is like you have to just take everything you can, and then you have to deal with all the consequences that come with that as well. So if people hate it, like as far as the general public, and they watch it and they don't like it, you assume all the risk for that as well. I want to do this for my family, and that way this chapter is for me. That part of my life, trying to tell their stories in the media, has never gone the way it's supposed to. It just hasn't. You've only heard things that serve one's perspective, and it's mostly just case based. And I don't want to use the word shock value, but I mean, let's just put it out there, more like shock value. They want to give you the highlight, the moment, the the viral moment, the thing that's going to sell, and I'm going to give you the whole enchilada, the whole green chili enchilada. And I don't ever want to hear people out here talking about how gross the enchiladas were when they never had it. You never had that, so be quiet. Here's what I am going to say, and I've held this one in for a while, and this is not to go at people. This is just to be clear. Wow, Colby. Let me just put it this way. The people who are going to be speaking are people who have experienced it, and that does not mean it is shade thrown at anybody, but it's just the reality. So if you did not experience this and you were not there, and there was not a real tangible experience, and you were part of life, then I wouldn't expect to be in that story myself. So I think you have to take that for what it is. And so, there's going to be people who don't like it. There's going to be people who say things about it, and that's okay. That's okay. It just is what it is. So you deal with it, man. But like I said, let me just put it out there so you are all clear. This is not a Lori-centric documentary. This is not about Lori. This is not a focus on Lori. This is not her story being retold to you through my eyes. This is a family story, and this is a story about the reality of life and the experiences and the people who experience those things. And it's very different than what you've seen. So I really do believe you'll love it. But again, I'm just going to say it this way. This doesn't happen without you guys. Everything that has happened in my life, I feel like for the last couple of years that we've been doing this channel, has taken my expectations so far from anything that I've ever imagined my life being. And I'm just letting you guys know, you inspired me to feel confident enough, even though I'm still a little scared, to take the jump and the leap out of my normal thing, because it would honestly be easier and there would actually be money there if I did it with a company. So I just want that to be out there so we're all on the same page. Like, that's what's on the table. Those are the offers. Those are the things. And I'm trying to let everybody know it's actually going 100% the opposite way, because again, nothing as valuable as telling you guys the story, and nothing is going to bring it all together if the people involved can't trust the company, the people doing it. And so I said, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just do this completely differently? And guess what? We're in a beautiful place where the world has never been so available to technology that even Hollywood did not have not that long ago. You can get the type of software and cameras and things that were never available to the general public. And if they were so expensive. And now we're in an age where things can be done so differently. And so I think it's important to do what you can and not always hesitate and wait. And again, maybe some people don't see that this was a process in the background for years. This is not something that just came across one day and yeah, that sounds great. No, it's like this has been thought of in deep thought for years. So, and then last thing that motivated me is, I'm 30 years old. I've had some health issues this last year. I've had a lot of symptoms back and forth, been in the hospital at least 3 times, dealt with a lot of that. And, I don't want to sound dramatic when I say this. I tell you guys this all the time, but there's not a guarantee in your life. And so sometimes the answer is to wait, and then sometimes it's not to wait. So let's just put it that way. It's sometimes it's about doing something that doesn't make sense at first. And then again, I don't want to steal the Chosen's thing. I saw that the other day. I forgot they say that, but there is the best thing you could possibly do sometimes is just bring the loaves and fishes and ask God to turn that into something. And again, this is a perfect example. You can do a lot of stuff on your iPhone. This right here can do wonders. This can shoot in cinematic things, and you edit it and you have it. So obviously for me, I'm going to be doing a little bit different. Obviously, I have a really I bought a camera that is a cinema line camera that can be used as an approved list. It's on the approved list for documentaries for Netflix. And Netflix is the highest tier of documentary put out companies that there is, right? Like that's just how it is. Netflix puts out documentaries. It's it's the top tier. And so my camera that I already have was an investment for this exact reason. In case I ever wanted to use it for other things like this, I specifically got a camera that would allow me to shoot basically documentaries on it. And so, again, there's thought. Like I'm telling you, I've had this camera now for at least a year and a half. And I bought this camera specifically for the opportunity to be able to have that, because different cameras do different things, just like everything else. So, this all has been planned and thought of. I just never thought I'd jump and do it. But you are going to be pleasantly surprised by that next, what it is. So after you finish this one, have you thought about helping others who feel the same about their way, their story portrayed in the media? You'd be good at that. You get it. That's 100% the goal. So I want you guys to understand this whole vision. You've seen tidbits of it. So let's just get really raw and go back a little bit to where we were maybe a couple months ago. What the whole Timber and Wings thing was supposed to be a media company that allowed that kind of thing to happen. And that was the goal. But I have already thought about, if you guys go look back, I have, what's the word? I have a Instagram post probably from years ago, maybe 2021. I made God Over Odds Media Company, and I made that into a YouTube and a channel and everything back then. I've always thought about doing a media company. Like that's how passionate I am. This is years of thinking of this way. And I'm glad that I didn't jump in at the wrong time. Right. That's the part where it's like, you do have to be patient sometimes. And then at some point, it's your time to go. So it's kind of like being a horse and you're about to start that race and you're at the gate, or a runner who's waiting for the gun. There's a certain period of time where it takes a while and you're just ready, you think you're ready. And then eventually when your time to go, it. And so that's the deal. But the whole idea of a media company is supposed to give the opportunity for me to do what's right by my family, tell their story, not sensationalize it, not make it more than it was, tell you the truth, show you the truth, and have other people show you their truth and bring it together so you can experience that and understand that, and then honor my family with that. Because when you walk away, it's not going to be, you learn more just only about Lori, like she's just part of it. She's just inside the whole thing because it's a story of everything. And then the outside of that, if I can accomplish this first feat, the next thing is, as I've always told you guys, just like the podcast and everything, to have people come and sit there and have the opportunity to tell their story without being edited. So that's why I have called this the Real Story Movement, because it's not just about me. It's about everybody being encouraged to share their stories. And the thing is, we are in an age now where it's beautiful. You have social media, you have TikTok, you have YouTube. You can use your phone. You don't need a camera. You don't need equipment. You don't need anything in the background. You can tell your story without having to, invest into a studio or something like that. And so it's important. Like our community, when we were doing Share Your Stories, which by the way, is something I still want to do, obviously, we just have to find the right way to do it. Meaning I'd like for some people to tell their stories themselves, not just me reading them. So we'll get there. But that's my point, is this is not just, I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. Maybe I'm just on repeat at this point. I just wanted to be so clear that this has been in the works, and there's so many little tidbits we've done on the channel. You know what I mean? There has been so many tidbits of what I want to do as an overall vision. And maybe we've just kind of like, I don't want to use the word experimented, but I feel like we've just touched on those things and they've always been in my heart. And I'm like, how do you get all of that to be in the right place? And honestly, it's doing the media company. It's helping people do not just documentaries, but even just mini docs, as far as like maybe 25 minutes to an hour-long story on them without having to go into a full production mode, and help them tell their story and give people the spotlight that have never been put in big media and deserve to have their story told too. So that's how my brain works. That's what I want to do overall. Just so you guys know. What's up, Brandon? I hope you do too, man. Hope you guys are having a good long weekend. We're having we have summer break now. So a tier is this. And again, I know it sounds confusing because I haven't shared it. I'm gonna post it for you in the community tab, and then you'll see it a lot. I'll make sure it's everywhere for you. What the tiers are is if you donate a certain amount, there's a tier for if you like a tier 1 through tier 5, and there's benefits to those tiers. So if you donate like $25, there's a tier for that. And then if you go up from that point, there's going to be certain benefits if you are wanting to donate and go to that tier. That's what that means. And so basically it just shows you, like, again, I'll just put out one of the tiers is if you donate a certain amount, you get to be put in the credits of the actual documentary because you are helping fund this whole thing, right? And so that's the point. Like, I want people to understand this is so outside of the normal way to do this, and that's why I'm excited about it. And I think that's what makes it beautiful, because it's possible to do this without a company. And I don't need to wait for a company to tell me what to do. And it's no disrespect to anybody. I've had good conversations with them. I don't think that they have ill will towards you. I don't think everybody's bad. I think that they're just doing sometimes their job. Maybe they don't realize how important it is for some people to get the real story out there, but you can't take shortcuts. So you don't have to. But here's the thing, I've tried to explain this, and this is just the truth. Literally $1 to $10 from anybody goes towards equipment, getting this out here, paying for editors, and getting this project to you faster. That's it. So you don't have to have benefits if you don't want them. You can just be anonymous. There's people who go on the GoFundMe and just go anonymous, so you don't have to have your name on it. Again, like I said, this is for the people who want to see this happen. And that's why I'm trying to make sure you guys understand. This is just like the fabric of our community being put into this story first. But this is hopefully not the only story I ever tell, because again, I want to help people. I get it now. I had to go through that hell. And I say this about my kids, but I feel like about this in life. I had to crawl on glass so others could walk in meadows. I had to go through that, right? Go die hard on them. I had to crawl through some of those really bad situations so I could be the lesson and learn the hard stuff, and then be able to help the next person. And so I've told you, I've never gotten out of the victim advocacy ever. I've never left that realm. That's never left. Just because we're doing the show now on this channel, that doesn't mean that I don't want to help the victims of crimes. I mean, that's a huge part of my life. And so that is the goal always, is to have our community, and then the media company or doing documentary stuff, that's just its own thing. But I would always keep our community on YouTube. It's just, to me, it's its own little thing that we do. So, but again, I mean, yes, it definitely can be. There's a way to track that. But for me, like I said, I don't want anybody to do it if you can't do it. I want you to feel like you want to be a part of that, and that you understand this is coming out on this channel. And so nobody has to give anything. I'm just praying that God touches the people who want to do it, and we're going to use it and move forward and make this. And I just want people to feel and know that this is not about money. You have to have the money to create the project at any level, right? I mean, I could shoot it right now with this camera, this lighting, and try to get everybody sit in this seat and ask them questions, but realistically, they still need to fly out here, this and that. There's just realistic parts of this, right? So to do it even halfway decent, it has to have some kind of budget. And that's what we've done, is we've set the ultimate budget. And then again, if it falls short of any of that, you're still going to get it. That's what I'm trying to say. The equipment's important. That's the number one thing, but you do what you can. And if you look around, there's a lot of people who are now taking their stories and their lives into their own hands. And we're in a beautiful age. And if you really look around, it's crazy. Even artists who are huge artists now start in their house, because that's the type of ability that we have. And there's talent everywhere. But now that we have social media, now that we have this kind of world, you can share that talent and you can share these things differently. It's beautiful. It's really cool. And so I just took inspiration from all of those things. I've always wanted to carve my own path, and I've always wanted to do this on my own, but I've just never had the confidence. And I was so singular minded, like I have to have a company help me with all this stuff. And the truth is, I don't. If I can, if I can get enough money to pay people to come in and do that, and some of you have already reached out to me and told me that there are people, your kids, family members, friends, anything, who already do some of this work. And so that's the point. Once we get to that point, I can ask and I say, hey, please, if you're an editor, email me right now. And I'm going to go through them, and then we'll jump on Zoom calls and have conversations, and we'll go over it. Like we're going to do this it's for the people, but from the people. Does that make sense? It's just different. It's a different kind of project. So I want to answer any questions we have, but I am tonight celebrating because, again, just to reiterate really quickly, I was already ready to sign with another company, with a different company as well. There was a lot of conversations about what my role is. And I said, look, just none of this stuff's matching up for me. Can we please just like stop? Don't worry about any kind of anything else. Can we just make sure that at the end of the day, that this does justice to my family? Because it's already been told, it's already been shown, it's already been on documentaries, it's been everywhere without all this context. The only way I'm willing to even share that with you is because this story as a whole needs to be told. And I'm telling people, I will not share this stuff. I will not talk about this, and I will not ask others to talk about it in this way if I can't guarantee you or guarantee that this story is going to come through in full. And no one can really do that. They just can't, because it's not how that works. So that's the last thing I'll say about that part of it. But that's why we're doing it on our own. And that's why it has to be done differently. And I hope, if anything, that it would just inspire anybody to tell their story on any capacity. That's it. You know? Exactly. And it's not like everybody doesn't know most of that information. Even if you only watch a documentary, those documentaries usually solely focus on Chad, Lori, Alex, that kind of thing. It's more about the crime and stuff like that. So I think that's usually what people see. So I don't think there's really much I could even throw in there that you hadn't known when it comes to the case part. All what you don't know is a lot of other things behind the scenes, and you didn't see a lot of stuff. But what was presented in court, you guys know that will be in there, but it's not high, it's not focused on that. I just want to put it out there. This is not Chad and Lori and Alex's story and a cult story, because you already know that story and it's been told over and over and over and over. But the thing is, you genuinely can't plug that stuff in without the other people. You can't, and they're not willing to do it. If it's going to be in that context, because we're all sick and tired of that story. We're all sick and tired of Lori and Chad's story and Alex's story. It's being retold on repeat. So that's just how life goes. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. And again, just so we're all on the same page here, number one, if you have a question, throw it out there. I'd love to answer it. Number two, that does not affect this. This channel is not just going to be only about the documentary. We still have a channel. We still have other things that we're going to talk about. So while I'm creating the documentary, we're still going to be doing our thing. Like I told you guys, I have to move out of this house. And our family is like, when you have a whole family to move in a very short amount of time, we have to pack everything and clean it. And I have to take down the studio stuff. Like, it's just, you guys know, but we have a big family. So we have so much to do in a short amount of time to get out of this house. And then everything can go back to a normal schedule. So, but tell your story the right way. And like I said, I feel that this is going to have the most context and the most tangible story that's ever been told, because it's real. It's the truth, and it's what happened. It's from the people who know it. So it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be really good. That's what's I'm excited about, because my heart has always wanted to. Sometimes you guys have seen my reaction. You guys know, if you've been here on this channel for a while, you know that I have been so frustrated listening to things, and not just only like the actual case itself, like learning details, that's been really hard. But we did that together too. You sat here while I learned stuff about my family on court and watched it live with you. And there was stuff I never knew myself. And so I feel like it's only right to do this with you and to put it on YouTube for you. So you don't have to go try to find it. You don't have to think about it. It's right here on our YouTube channel where everything else has happened, you know? And sometimes I'm like, well, should I clean it up? Should I try to fix this? You know, make it look more professional. I don't care about the YouTube channel looking professional. It's got a real character. It's got a real tangible community, and it's imperfect, and that's how life is. So I'm not trying to make it look perfect. Would it help you if we shared how the trials impacted us in a way that brought us all here? Not all about us, but what about brought us here and how you've impacted us? That'd be amazing. I would love that. And honestly, that's the biggest point because it that's what's so crazy, because that tragedy brought me a community of amazing people who are more interested in just tragedy, when I know most of the world has looked at this situation as only a tragedy and had jumped in, watched it, left, which I don't blame them for. It's the world. It's how life works. People move, see something, they look at it, it's a big mess, and then they move on. But that's what's so crazy is like, this is what I've always tried to do, is turn this back into a positive. Like if you don't have that, I don't know what else you do with this. And I'm just going to be super raw with you guys. I don't know what else you do with something this bad in your life. If something this bad is happening to you and you don't try to help other people and make something positive out of it and share a real story and just go the opposite way, I don't know what else you do, man. I feel like at that point you just have to be, I don't know. You either don't talk about it or you're bitter, or I don't know. I just feel like I can't even stand the thought anymore of just that negative notion about this. And then just the thought of just letting it slide that Tylee, JJ, and Charles and Tammy are just these victims to Lori. And she's just like the highlight. And it's just like, look at Lori, look at Lori. But also she took their lives. But look at Lori, look at Chad, look at Alex. And it's like, who cares? Like, they're murderers. Frick all of them. Forget them all. They're not the story. They don't matter. They don't get to take the story over. They're the evil ones. And we already know that we're not going to ever figure that out. So it is what it is. So we thought we were going to stay here in this house and renew and go forward, but that didn't end up working out. And so it all kind of happened quickly. It is what it is. We're moving on. We're going to move into a different house, and that's life. So yeah, I don't know what else you do with it, huh? If you don't, my personal opinion is I've had so much personal help from YouTube. I cannot tell you my lowest times. I've looked for things on YouTube. I've listened to pastors. I've listened to strong people. I've listened to people even like on Sean Ryan's show who sit there and talk about war stories and how they got out of their hardships. You take all that stuff and it all is for good. And it's all people's, their blood, sweat, and tears in life, their trauma, their sadness, their everything they've ever experienced. When they share that, there's something so powerful about that. And then the other side was to correct all the wrong in media. I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't stand the narratives and these people talking out of the side of their mouth like they ever had to sit at the table and suffer. And they're out here talking nonsense and lying about people and lying about their position in my family and acting like they were something more than they were. And they're out here because no one's course correcting them. And so I wanted to be a confrontational person because I was in too much trauma and pain to come out here and try to explain to everybody who actually had to go through this stuff. But there's people talking nonsense who have made entire careers and trying to make their whole life and blow out of the water over my family being murdered. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to make my life out of my family tragedy. I'm trying to flip it back over and say, look, you might know all this hard stuff, but there's a whole other part of the story you have no idea. And that's the part that's going to help people understand better, but it's also the part that's going to heal people in the end. It's not just a crime. This actually happened in real life. So I can't stand it anymore, man. These false narratives are sick. And again, I'm not going to just be talking either. I'm going to go show you the people who have their experiences, and it's going to be multiple different places. And they're the ones that are going to put with their own words, because again, I'm only there to ask questions as a director. That's my job. When it's not me talking, I'm there to help direct the project. But my thing is, I'm not here to try to create narrative. I genuinely want to ask questions and get to hear their answer. This is not about me forcing it down a hole so it looks a certain way at the final product. It's about really, truly hearing those people and then getting to know the tangible part of it. But I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of people who have misinformation right now that are walking around talking about that misinformation or have talked about it for a really long time. But then I'm a grifter for talking about my family. So I guess these big media companies who have made millions of dollars talking about this, or people who are lying about their position, or have made entire channels about this, or have bad intentions and don't actually care, they're in the right, but I'm grifting? The hell are we talking about? I'm sorry. That's crazy to me. Like, I actually had to sit through this shit. I had to live it. I had to suffer. And I'm still trying to get out of the trauma that's caused for the rest of my life, that changed everyone in my life around me and changed my family's life and took my siblings off this earth, took my dad off this earth, and changed the trajectory of my future forever. And somehow that's wrong for me to tell the story. I don't understand that. Please, if you feel that way, please, I'm genuinely not even being confrontational. I genuinely would like to know why you think that everyone else has the right to tell the story, but I don't. I had to go through it. What the hell are we talking about? Please, someone explain that to me. I just don't understand that. But I've told you guys before, the Star Wars podcast was created for the same reason, is to sit down and have conversations, because I'm not going to filter the stuff out. I'm not trying to make it a certain way, I don't know. Sorry, that was a little bit of a snap, but I can't take it anymore, man. These people just are so misinformed, and I just don't understand how you could support all these other people who do this for a living, have made so much money, and then I'm in the wrong for telling my own tragedy in my own family. But instead of trying to give you more of that crap, I want to show you how it was and also share all the good stuff, and then leave a legacy for everybody. Leave it for my family, for my family members that are gone, but then also, you guys don't know what it's like to have your kids have to grow up and know that they're one day going to have all the questions about this. One day my kids are going to grow up and have to find out that this is the truth in a realistic way, regardless of what age that is. They know it now, but my kids don't know how bad it is. And they're not going to know until obviously they're older. And that's the point. At some point, they're going to have questions. So guess what? If I get to tell this story the right way, I can literally, with full confidence, let my kids sit down and watch a documentary to answer a lot of their questions, and then give them even more if they need it. But this isn't about just Colby and telling his story, or even just Tylee, JJ, and Charles and Tammy, but there's generations that are going to come, and this is part of their family tree. This is way bigger than any of that stuff, and this isn't about money. This has nothing to do with money. The only thing is, in life, unfortunately, money runs our world, and you have to have money to do things. So that's the only reason money's involved. If I could just do this right now, I would do it right now. Money's not the point. For everybody else, though, they're selling it. They're selling it and packaging and putting it on a front door for people to consume and watch. It's a product to them. But they don't sit at the table of pain. They don't sit here and get to have bites and say that they know what it's like. They don't get to do that. And I'm not going to put up with that anymore in my life. Don't sit there and act like you've gone through the waking up from night terrors and having to go to therapy all the time to work through this pain. And it's incalculable. And you're going to sit there and act like I'm grifting off of my family, that this actually happened to me. Get a grip, brother. You got to grow up. I don't know what else to say. But there's always going to be people who hate on you. There's always going to be people who misunderstand you. But I'm not going to sit here and not say my piece. I'm not going to sit here and not talk about it. That's ridiculous. Imagine you're telling your story and I tell you, you shouldn't be telling your story. That's weird. I wouldn't want you to even see $1 from your story. I'm sorry. Have I missed the point where people go out and sell their life rights to studios for hundreds of thousands or not millions of dollars? Have I missed it where people sell books and make so much money going around touring, talking about their life story. And that's not even what I'm trying to do right now. I'm just trying to tell you the story because I can't stand the narrative anymore. And we want to talk about money. What the hell are we talking about here? I don't understand you guys. I don't understand the people who say that. You come in here and you comment on stuff and you'll watch everybody talk about this. You'll watch every outlet, you'll watch every documentary put out about it. But when someone who lived it comes in, I'm trying to make money. Okay. I've been offered lots of money that I never accepted in my life to tell these stories because I don't want to, because it's not about money. And people think that a check in front of my face is going to make me want to do something. My mom killed my family for money. So if you think that money for me is the most important thing, you're out of your effing mind. You are. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand people. I don't understand why people don't look for the context, but that's always going to be how life is. I'm not going to not say it. I wasn't going to say anything about it. I don't care. Because you guys know this has always been very raw. This channel is just a very raw thing. It is what it is. I've always tried to share my heart with you because that's the only way I can be. So I was going to try to refrain from addressing those people, but it's going to happen just so we're all clear for the rest of everything. I'm going to have so many people criticize. Even if I put out a final thing and let everybody see it, they're going to criticize it. It's always going to be the same. So I don't expect it to change. And I don't expect it to be different. I do have a channel though for that exact reason, to tell you my side. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. I'm not going to let these people run their mouths unchecked. And it's been going on for a long time. And I've never said a word about it. I've never talked about it. And again, my response to them is not to come at them and directly say everybody's name and tell you everything they've ever done. I'm just going to tell the full story and I'm going to rest my hat there. That's it. Once that's out of the way, it's such a great thing for so many reasons. So many people, my kids, possibly their kids, however long it lasts, whatever that looks like, I know that this got told. So that's it. And this is another big reminder to all of you guys is you should never have people put you in a corner and tell you can't tell your story. That's ridiculous. They have no right to tell you that your story is not important, that that you shouldn't be talking about what you've gone through and this like that. I don't know. But I've tried not to make my entire channel about drama and try to make it all about all this other crap. This is actually happening. I've had people on here who come in and go, "Oh my gosh, is this paid acting or whatever crap they get on?" They come in here and think that this isn't real life or something like that. I'm like, it's as real as it gets. Unfortunately, this is a very real situation. Yeah, nobody puts Colby in a corner. I'm busting out that thing. I'm a rat in a corner, baby. I'm chewing through it all. You're not going to put me in a corner over there and tell me how to act and how to tell my family story. The hell you on? That's disrespectful, to be honest with you. So, they're selling products. We're not selling anything. We are telling a story. And I hope the Lord blesses all of our community and myself to tell more people stories after. That's the goal. That would be my dream, man. That's my dream. It always has been. I have a passion for this stuff. I really genuinely have a deep passion for people, their stories, and helping them tell it the right way. So that way it is a palatable thing for others to help them and help them realize that they're not alone. And there's a million different reasons, but to share real stories is, I think, what helps our life and it helped me every time. People sharing their hardships helped me so much. So I want to give that and then honor my family. They deserve that too. So I will share the tears with you guys very soon for the documentary. Thank you to every single one of you who has just been supporting this channel and has supported me, supported my family, and then now supporting this documentary. I don't want to stop. I don't have the words for you to show you my appreciation. It has meant the world to me to have a community. I am blessed for every single person here because this is something beautiful. And regardless, people are going to say what they say. And I'm just telling you, I needed to get that off my chest. That doesn't mean it's my focus. My focus has always been you guys, putting that positivity back into the world and changing the narrative for the better, not for the worse, not for the drama. This is not about clicks. This is not about money. This is simply about telling the right story. And once I'm done doing justice for my family that deserves it, I hope to move on and continue. That doesn't mean the podcast is going to stop. That doesn't mean any of the things I've tried to do are going to go away. This channel is still going to continue because I love having community and I am beyond blessed to have you. Seriously, I really am. I really do love you guys, man. And you've given me a family outside of my family that I never thought I'd have. And I don't think I could ever explain that, but there's such a season of loneliness and so such a I had my story felt written out. It felt over. So it felt done. And that really just was disheartening. And everything just kind of flipped on its head. So we all kind of started in the same place, basically, in this tragedy that all kind of brought us together. Emily's the one that brought it up. And I believe in my heart that we've turned it into something positive. All the different conversations we've had, all the mental health stuff we've talked about, all the stories people have shared on this channel, people in the comments, people have made friends outside, right? People have talked to each other. I mean, it's beautiful. How much more could you possibly ask for in life? To turn the internet into the most positive corner I've seen of the internet. How else more? What more could you ask for? Out of a hard situation. So I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, I'll be back soon. I'll be updating you guys a lot on the community tab, making sure you guys know when we're going live again. If I can't go back live this week, then this is our goodbye to the studio. I'm going to be packing and doing all the cleaning, all the stuff you have to do when you're moving. But I would hope to do at least 1 or 2 more lives in our studio. But if not, this is our last time in our studio and here. Wow. I'm so glad. And that's all I've ever prayed for. That's all I've ever wanted, is to help anybody I possibly can. And then after you get through that, you have real people that you have a real connection with. And so I'll just say this: if we get to our goal, we can make this happen. We are going to have a in-person premiere. So I'm going to let you know. Get your hair did. I'm going to get a little suit, nice suit. We'll have some cameras there for us all, but we'll just have a good event. I mean, it's more just about showing you guys the product and just showing you what it is. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is that I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. And so when you see it, when you get to actually be there for it, it's a labor of love, and that's all that matters. And then everybody's going to see it. Like I said, this is not a gatekeep thing. This is not a paywall thing. This is a simple, I need to show everything I can, give everything I have, and then you can see it from there. I know the stew's always going to be the stew, even if it's somewhere else. It's going to be sad, but we are going to go straight red carpet. Maybe we'll make our own color carpet though, and we're going to do our thing, man. But I hope to see you guys there. I will let you know way in advance when that would be. It would be a lot of coordination, but I would let you guys know because it would obviously be important to do. I did see someone ask a question. I just want to answer and go back to real quick. So I have a lot of love and respect for CrimeCon. I had a really good experience because I got to meet so many of you, and I got to meet just good people. And I just had a completely different idea of what CrimeCon was. I didn't know what it was. I think I really was like, what is this? Like, what are people going to this event for? And it was just so much different than anything that I'd ever experienced. And it was just a good experience. And I just felt like that's what really sparked me. Like, I always knew I wanted to be around people in like person, but I think that I just think that that experience really showed me how much I want to do things in person. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Just really changed like an idea of what I'd want to do to like actually making it tangible and say, I really want to like be around people like this and actually see and meet and get to know and hang out with and spend time with people rather than just, not. And so I think that made me want to do in-person stuff as much as we possibly can. So we'll get there. It's I think it either just happened or it's happening this weekend. I want to say I'm not sure. I know it was coming up towards the end of CrimeCon. We actually have people who are here in the community or maybe even in the chat who are going to CrimeCon this year. And obviously I would love to have been there just to be there with people, but I also just couldn't make it, and we have to move. So it's unfortunate. But we're going to be through that soon, and I'm excited to share this product with you. It's just this is the thing. This is probably the most important thing I've ever put my hand to ever. And I've never been able to do anything close to it. And I thought that I was doing it with Netflix. I thought that we were getting this done, but at the end of the day, this is like I think the most important thing that I have personally done when it comes to putting something into it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Sometimes I feel like I don't have the exact words of how I'm trying to express myself, but this is the most important thing I've ever put my heart into when it comes to like everything that I do behind the scenes, everything I know, no matter what it is, no matter how hard it is. This whole project is so important to me, but also it's going to be important, I think, overall for storytelling. I know some people were not happy about the Vegas thing. I don't know where it is. It's at Caesars, right? Which is a really cool place to have it. Blood, sweat, and tears, exactly. That's all it's going to be. So, oh yeah, that would be rough. I mean, because there's going to be so many people there who are not at CrimeCon, probably, because I'm assuming it's in like part of the hotel, and so that's going to be a lot. It's okay. You never have to worry about that. You need to take care of yourself, and we love you. I really appreciate that, but don't ever worry about it. Don't ever worry about it. It's okay. Don't ever worry about that. We just want you to be here and part of this. So, like I said, I love you guys. I'll let you know very soon we're coming back. This is it's a process. It's a process, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get to that first step, but that's okay. So once we get there, the best part about it is not only are the people who are doing the tiers, and I would want you guys to know the Patreons and the members are going to have like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I will be posting some of it to the YouTube channel, just so you guys know, outside of our regular stuff we do. But on top of that, a lot of this stuff that we're going to be doing is I'm going to be updating you guys where we are in that process. And so once we hit certain milestones, like when we get there, I'm like, hey, we got to this, we have this stuff, we're able to do, start the project, and we're going to start this very soon. I'm going to like let everybody know where we are. And that's the best part about this, is that I don't have to worry about sharing. Obviously I can't overshare. I can't tell you guys everything, but there's a lot that I can, and I don't have to worry about putting that out there for you, because I care about you guys. I love you, and I want you to be a part of the process no matter what. This is not about money. This is not just about like, you have to donate to know, like, I just want everybody to be a part of it. But obviously I want to take care of our patrons and members because they're helping support so much. And then obviously if you have a tier and you've already donated and paid for that, you deserve to have all of that stuff as well. So that's how it's going to always work. But this is for everybody. And that's what this project is about. So I love you guys. Be back with you very soon. We'll be back talking. Hopefully soon we'll be back on our regular schedule, just so we're all there. But thank you guys. Thank you for making this a reality. You guys have been an amazing love and support for me. And not only that, but you guys have given me the confidence, and our community has given me the confidence to want to pursue not only my dream, but what I think is a good new way to do things, which is sometimes you just kind of trust yourself and trust the people around you, and then trust God to do the rest. So we can only do what we can, but I can't wait to share it with you. Love you guys so much, man. See you soon.